Well, here we go, Gunners. This is a big one for us. It's Manchester United at the Emirates. A win propels us right up towards the top. A lot to play for. Let's have a look at it. So we come into this one in excellent form, probably among the best in the league at the moment, barring Manchester City. A lot of teams in and around us have stuttered, have come into their slump, just as we've come out of ours, and that's propelled us into the higher reaches, which looked impossible even a month ago, to be honest. So we're coming into this in great form. We're riding high. We've come through an easy run with a lot of wins, and we've picked up the start of our difficult run with a win as well. So we're as good as we've been probably at any point under Mikel Arteta's reign. And that's great shape to be in. There's never a bad time to be in the sort of form that we're in. And it's been long awaited. It is showing the signs of cohesion and fluency that have been missing from our game for years, I think. And that's been partly a result of players who are unavailable coming back, partly a little tactical rejig, partly introduction of some youth players. Whatever it was, it's a collection of pieces to the puzzle, but we're in great form. 1 draw in 5, 4 wins, unbeaten in the league since Boxing Day. Yeah, there's lots to be really happy about with this form and the way they're performing. Up until earlier this week, you could have said the same of Manchester United, but their recent run, as fortuitous as it may have been at times, has come to an end. They were shocking at Sheffield United, which they are wont to do. They're perfectly capable of turning in a performance that was that bad. But they're also perfectly capable of turning in a winning performance from the scraps of nothing. So I don't say they're in bad form, but they certainly come into this one in slightly worse shape than they were. Whether that elicits a response or not remains to be seen, but if you take the picture as a whole, both sides are in pretty reasonable form. Ours marginally better at the moment, marginally more coherent and less scattergun than United's. So that's the context for this one. Both teams are going to be looking, I think, to come away with something from this. I don't think we're going to be looking for, or Ole Solskjaer is going to be looking for a point. It doesn't do any of us any good, and there are big opportunities for both of teams in the league to steal a march if they can get 3 points. So it's set up to be a really attacking, open, exciting game. Team selection-wise, I don't think Mikel will stray too far from the team that got the win at Southampton. It was an excellent performance and a great group effort from the team. The only thing that's going to change that, I think, is injuries and unavailabilities. We may see a change at left back if Kieran Tierney is deemed fit. Let's hope he is, because he's a big part of what we do. If there's any risk, though, I don't think Mikel will take it. I think he'll go again with Cedric, who did well enough. Whether that will be enough for Manchester United is a different matter. So we may see a change at left back. And we may see a change in the left side of the attacking three. We may see the return of Aubameyang if his mother is deemed well enough and he's comfortable enough to leave his care of her in the hands of the medical professionals to come back and play. If so, great. I'm sure he'll go straight back in, or maybe an introduction for the second half. Those two are the biggest question marks, and they're also question marks, slight question marks hanging over Emil Smith-Rowe and Thomas Partey, who both appeared to leave the pitch with cramp in the latter stages of the Southampton game. Hopefully there's nothing more serious to either of them in terms of strains or tears or whatnot, and it's just cramp. But I think Arteta will be cautious given the lessons we've learned this season already with rushing players back or risking them. the unavailability of those two will be a huge headache and possibly even a determining factor in this match. So let's hope they're fit. But I think if they are fit and available to play, we won't see too much change from the setup and style of the Southampton game. Key men for this one, I have gone with Thomas Partey for Arsenal. I normally go with an attacking-minded player, the Lacazettes and Sakas and Smith Rowes of this world. But this week, if he's fit, I think Thomas Partey is going to make the difference. I don't need to tell you or anyone that's been following the team this season that the man is levels above anything else we have and raises the levels of those around him. He was a decisive influence at Old Trafford, and I expect if he plays and is fit and is sharp, will be so again. The options that he brings, the calmness, the technical quality that he brings to the midfield is irreplaceable in many respects, and the early stages of partnership that he's forming with Granit Xhaka is again becoming a key part of how we play and how we set up. So I'm sure United will have their plans for tackling that and dealing with him, but I think he'll be key if he's fit. I really hope he is. If he can do 60, 70 minutes, that will go a long way to determining, I think, our level of performance and maybe even the result. So I think he's going to be key for us. If we can get him on the pitch and he can perform with anything like the sort of quality he has in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we stand a really good chance. And he may not be, as you can see from his figures there, a prolific goal scorer or assister, but he has that in his locker. And he has much more than just ball recoveries and tackles in his locker. So the longer we go on, I think the more we'll see of that. And here's to that. So for me, he's the Arsenal's key man. For Manchester United, I went with Bruno. Who else do you go with in that side? I think he is as an important a player for them as Thomas is for us. The level that he brings is above by some distance anything else on the pitch for United, and if he's not available, they don't function in the same way. They're not as good. We marshalled him extremely well at Old Trafford and took him out of the game. He wasn't a factor at all. Whether we decide to set up in the same way at the Emirates is almost certainly not going to be the case, but if we can sit someone on him and take him out, cut off his passing routes, cut off the balls into him, then that goes a long way to winning us this game. But if he gets the sort of space that he needs, he will have a big impact and a big say on this game. So he's going to be key for them. And just looking at those figures tells you everything you need to know about the guy's quality. Whatever we think about his demeanour or his manner or the club he plays for, he is a standout player, a star player of the sort of quality they've not had for a while. And he's going to be decisive, I think. Predicting this one is fiendishly difficult because it depends on a lot of factors that may only be apparent on the day. I don't think looking at the two sets of forms and squads from a distance will inform how this one will go. I think it's been such a topsy-turvy season that all results are possible. And it may be that injuries, unavailabilities and tactical decisions at moments in the game will settle this one. I don't think this is going to be a 0-0. I just think these are two sides that are too stacked with attacking ambition and also with two defences that are perhaps not as good as they once were. That will preclude the 0-0. Famous last words, of course, but I think there'll be goals in this one. That depends, of course, on how the team's set up, but we'll see on that score. But this is a difficult one to predict. Given our recent form and our upturn in level, and our much more expansive way of playing, if we can get all of our players on the pitch fit and firing, and maybe even a cameo from Odegaard there, then I'm optimistic of a positive result for us. But there are many unknowns here. Man United are a bit of a mercurial side this season, equally capable of ridiculousness as they are of excellence. So it's a real wait and see. But as I say, if we can get those players on the pitch from the start, fit, uninhibited, we've got a great chance. And that will be it for this week, Gunners. This is a really big game, a really exciting one. It's good to be looking forward to a game instead of dreading it for a change. We will hopefully be back after the match to talk through a win. Fingers crossed for that one. But in the meantime, you guys take care.